Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
What's up, everybody? It's the Ginger Yeti, and I'm checking in from the road. Still chilling here in the hotel in Mobile, Alabama. It's a warm, well, too hot of a day for me to be outside doing anything. It's 32 degrees right now at 5 at night, and that's just way too hot. So I'm sitting in here in a nice, cool air conditioning, drinking some beers. And the next beer I have for you is something I'll probably gonna totally butcher the pronunciation, but I believe it's Belle Mer from Archibald Microbrasserie out of Canada. Where in Canada is this from? I probably should have looked that up. I am not sure. I'm guessing it's somewhere in Quebec province. Does it say here? I don't know. It does not say. I should have looked that up. Anyways, here's a picture of the can. When I figure out where it's actually from, I'll post it up there in the video. And on the can here, it says it's 6.8% alcohol. It's a strong beer. I picked this up in Quebec. It was liberated from the Videotron Centre when we did our show there a couple weeks ago. This was one of the beers that they gave us backstage. And on the back here, I'm really surprised it doesn't say where the brewery is. Oh, here it is. Maybe I just can't read it because it's in French. Quebec. It says Quebec, Montreal, Toronto, and Quebec, Canada. So I guess it's located in Quebec. Whatever. That's where I liberated it from. Brought it back down here to the country of freedom. And on the back here it says, pale golden West Coast IPA that is naturally hazy, shows an intense aroma of tropical fruit that balances well with a long-lasting hop aftertaste, which is both clean and dry, driven by Centennial and Simcoe. That's also written in French, but obviously I don't read French, I'm an American. It says 6 to 8 degrees as the serving temperature. You're supposed to use a tulip glass. I'm using whatever the hotel has, so it's this little glass here. 65 IBUs, and it is, what's funny is, on the can here, it says 6.8% alcohol and 65 IBU. On tap, when I looked it up, it said 7.1% alcohol and 70 IBU. So I'm going to trust the can here and go with those IBUs and those alcohol percentages. And thank you to the Videotron Centre for putting this in the backstage. That was an amazing show, really good time, great venue. Good day all around. On Untapped, as I pour it, a knob head pour. On Untapped, this gets a 3.58 with 6.1 thousand check-ins. Beer Advocate gets an 87 good, but there was only 11 check-ins. Now that is super clear. I can see the camera right through that. You know, for a West Coast IPA, I would have expected this to be cloudy, murky, and that's just super clear. I'm surprised I can see right through it. The big knob head pour I did, you got this big, it's almost a yellow head. It's like a yellowish white, like, if you remember back in the day when you could smoke in restaurants, smoke in bars, that's kind of that nicotine stained ceiling tile. Or maybe almost the color of this wall here. That's kind of similar to that just that nicotine stained ceiling tile color. That's what that head looks like. On the SRM chart, my ratty, tattered, got some holes in it. Man, this thing has not survived well. On my SRM chart, I would probably give that about a 4 actually, because it is kind of dark. It's just really see-through. Let's get a nose on her. Now this whole tour I've been battling between some sort of cold, cough, sinus, something or other, plus now it's allergy season, going in and out of allergy season, like different parts of the country, so my sinuses are a mess. Sometimes I have trouble smelling things. I'm getting a slight hoppy scent. Not much else, and that could be because I'm kind of a little stuffy, but it is what it is, right? I guess there's nothing left to do but taste it. Cheers, everybody. Thin body. It's got a sharp bitterness, if that makes sense. I mean, that bitterness is like really sharp, but doesn't last long. After that, like I said, it's sharp, but it mellows out real quick. A little bit of a, what is that? In the bitterness, you get that sharp bitterness real quick, and then it kind of mellows out. And there's almost like an adjuncty kind of weird flavor to it. I don't know what that is. There's just something there in the finish. It's not the best. You know, this says West Coast IPA. Maybe they mean West Coast of Canada, because this is definitely not what I would consider a West Coast IPA. They had 4 or 5 different beers from this brewery in the backstage, and this is one that I would just let play. I would not buy it. I mean, if you hand it to me, I'd drink it. This is probably the 3rd or 4th one of these I've had. It's not the worst thing in the world. And this brewery does do other beers that are better. But this one, I just let it play. That the sharpness of the bitterness and then that weird aftertaste is just not my thing. And as much as I say I talk about IPAs, I've had a lot of West Coast IPAs. I would not call this a West Coast IPA, at least not an American West Coast IPA. So, you know, Belle Mer from Archibald Microbrasserie, you missed it on this one. Give it, let it play. I mean, if somebody bought me one, I wouldn't be upset. Free beer in the backstage, absolutely not upset at all. It's cool to try out something different. I appreciate that. But I wouldn't buy this beer again. However, this brewery, I've had a few other beers from this brewery, and this brewery does make some decent beers. But this one, just let it play. And you know, it's an adventure trying a lot of these different beers. As I always say, embrace the adventure.